everybody, it's Jenny, and today I'm going to be sharing another project for Miss Ink Stamps. For my card today, I'm going to be using the So Charming stamp set. Here's a closer look at all of the images. And to go along with the theme of this stamp set, I'm going to use the Scene Builder Cloud Stencil to create a magical background. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and stamp out my images onto some white cardstock with some Copic friendly ink. Once I have all my images stamped out, I'm going to use my alcohol markers to color them in. Next, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut out all of my images. Then I'm going to go ahead and start on my background, and I just took a piece of black cardstock and trimmed that down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then I picked Seedless Preserves and Mermaid Lagoon Distress Oxide inks, and I'm just going to alternate those colors across the front of my cardstock using the stencil. Once I have some of my cloud shapes in place, I'm going to go back and add the swirly detail. To give my panel a more magical feel, I'm going to go ahead and spritz the whole thing with some glimmer mist. Then I'm going to use my heat tool to dry it. Next, I'm going to add some stars and some more sparkles using some white acrylic paint, an embossing tool, and a gel pen. Next, I'm going to go ahead and play around with the layout of my images on the card front. Once I had my images arranged how I like them, I decided to bring in a dark purple Copic to color in the white edges around my images to match my background. Before I started attaching any of my images, I decided I wanted a stitched edge, so I just got a stitch rectangle die and ran that through my die cut machine. Next, I added all my images to the card front using some foam tape. I'm going to use the You're So Charming sentiment from the stamp set, and I'm going to heat emboss that onto some black cardstock with some white detail embossing powder. I always stamp out my sentiment a couple times when I'm heat embossing, just to make sure that once I add the embossing powder and melt it, I can pick the cleanest and clearest impression. Then I'm going to go ahead and add the embossing powder and use a paintbrush to wipe away any excess. I'm going to use my heat tool to make sure everything is nice and melted, and then I'm going to trim out my sentiment. I'm also going to attach that to the card front using some foam tape. For the final step, I'm going to go ahead and attach my card front to a card base. And here's a closer look at the finished card. I think it turned out super magical. I love all the shimmer and shine, and I think the swirly detail on the clouds really adds a whimsical touch. And I also like the look of coloring in my white edges to match my background. That's the first time I've ever done that, but I definitely think I'm going to be trying that again. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!